And I came here in 1986 to run it for myself, and I signed the papers, and I was owner of the Red Barn Incorporated. People come in here for the experience, more so than I think anything else. And they love the fact that somebody's actually taking the time to listen. Maybe you learn in proportion to how much you listen and care. If you can find that balance between doing what you love that isn't really work, that might pay the bills, and can resonate with people and actually to some extent help people. Without my customers, I would be doing what I don't love, guaranteed.
Today's Kennebec Valley Forum is brought to you by Dan and Scott's Cremation and Funeral Service, Sunset Flowerland and Greenhouses, and KSW Federal Credit Union.
Welcome to another edition of Kennebec Valley Forum. Today we're going to be at KVCAP here to talk about weatherization and LIHEAP. And we have with us Andrea Pasco, the director. Would you?
Development Director?
Yes. Would you introduce our guest?
I sure will. This is Monica Grady. She is the Director of our Energy and Housing Department. And Joe Caruso, who is a weatherization expert extraordinaire.
A auditor and technician.
An energy auditor and technician.
Good. Well, let's start right out with you, Monica. Tell us a little bit about your job, what you do.
What I do here at KVCAP. Well, what we do is the first point of contact for KVCAP on this department is the fuel assistance. People come in and apply for a heating assistance benefit. From there, they're found eligible for other programs such as weatherization, furnace repair, replacement, oil tank repairs or replacement, home repairs, financial capability counseling, home buyer education. We have a wide variety of different programs that we can serve, and the weatherization too. So
This must be the prime time of the year for you.
LIHEAP opens the end of August and it goes till end of May. So all the other programs run year round.
Okay,
But
let's
fuel
talk a little
assistance.
bit about LIHEAP. What does it involve? What is it? And how do people become available for it?
LIHEAP, again, it's a fuel benefit, whether it's oil, kerosene, wood pellets, wood, LP gas, whatever benefit it is that heats their primary need in the household. It's an income-based program, so people need to qualify for that. They need to
Okay.
bring in the proper paperwork, which is either their wage income or social security income or self-employed, backup documentation for us to do that verification, and then from there they become certified or denied, whichever way it should go.
Okay,
And then they receive their benefit. During the season, if they've run out of their first benefit, there also is an emergency benefit that possibly could take place.
okay. Because I ran into a little bit of that with this last storm
Yeah,
in my town with general assistance.
yes.
Having said that, can you broach the income levels of people that would be eligible for LIHEAP on a federal scale maybe?
The federal scale goes up to 175% of poverty. If you're over a certain age, it can go up to 200%.
Okay,
And I don't have it right on top of my head.
Sure,
but
that's
Pretty
good.
close.
Well, that's
We
good.
go by those poverty levels.
Yeah.
So, yes.
that's good.
Yeah.
How many clients do you have?
For our territory, we do Kennebec, Somerset, Lincoln, and Saginaw, and we probably serve over 10,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
And where are most of them located?
The majority of our clientele, actually, our heaviest location is Augusta. We have an office in Wiscasset, Augusta, Skowhegan, and Waterville.
Oh, wow.
So
That's
we
pretty
try to
cool.
cover all of our territory.
Yeah, you do a good job. There must be a waiting list.
Actually, we have booked appointments. We've already seen probably over 3,000 right now.
Wow.
Appointments are booked till end of January at the moment.
Yeah.
We have an online scheduler, so people can go to our website and go to our heating assistance tab, and they can make their own appointment.
Okay, you care to give us that website?
It's www.kvcap.org, and it's really simple. It's a great little location.
And go to the LIHEAP tab?
It goes to the heating assistance tab at the top, and then it brings you to the heating LIHEAP, and it's right in the middle of the page where it says apply here. And
Okay,
it'll bring up the,
so most people,
Yeah.
well, this day and age, are pretty much computer literate.
A lot of, and people that
Not so
don't,
much
they're more
my
than
age,
welcome to
but-
still call and we'll
Yeah.
make the appointment for them.
That's
They can
cool.
do it face to face or they can come in, they can do it over the phone.
Okay, that's good. Must be a large office to take care of all these people, or
It is, yes.
do you care to give us any facts on how large it is?
The department?
Yeah,
The Department for Energy and Housing, we have about 25 employees. So just in the
Wow.
fuel department though, that's probably the majority of the staff that work in that, because we have 2 in each offsite location that take the intake, and then we have 5 that do the certifying end of it, looking at the paperwork. And then we have an operations manager, and then myself, which is the director of the floor, so.
under LIHEAP, what is eligible, what isn't? You know, if somebody's applying for, they don't know out there for fuel assistance, what might be available? Obviously fuel,
Yeah.
but is there anything else like the tanks or anything else that
We
are
do.
in the program?
Yes, if they've come in and they speak about their home and they say the tank is leaking or the furnace needs a little bit of repair or might need weatherization, we do have all of those programs. We
Okay,
can do furnace repair and replacement, we can do oil tank repair and replacement, we can do weatherization services in the home,
that's good.
yeah, yeah.
And that leads us, nice segue, right into
Yes, it does.
weatherization.
Absolutely.
Since you're the other person in charge of that, let's talk a little bit about what weatherization is and what it involves, if you will.
Well, first, what we do is come out to the home. There's 3 of us, 3 auditors, energy auditors here at KVCAP. If you're LIHEAP eligible, you're eligible for the weatherization program. We do follow a priority list. So we go down that priority list and work from the top down and give folks a call that are on that list and see if they're interested
Mm-hmm.
in having us come out, take a look at the house. What we're looking to do is make the house more affordable to heat, more comfortable, more energy efficient. And we do that by seeing if there's anywhere in the home that would benefit from upgrading the insulation levels and
Mhm.
also tightening the home up.
Mhm.
There's 2 ways you're losing heat out of your house. That's through your exterior surfaces. So the more insulation you can get in those surfaces, the better. And then you also lose heat through air transfer. So the more
Okay.
drafts you have, the quicker the heat's gonna get blown through the home. So
Okay.
we try and make the house tighter and insulate it a little more where we can.
Mhm.
Most of the time, we're insulating the attic spaces.
Sure.
We like to see a minimum of a R49, about 16
Wow.
inches of
Yeah.
insulation in our attics. And then down the basements, we find
Yeah.
a lot of homes are completely uninsulated down the basement, and even though you don't necessarily intentionally heat your basement, it's still a big energy drag on the home. So, you know, we benefit a lot from maybe spray foaming your basement perimeter.
Mhm.
And so the energy audit's a pretty thorough inspection and evaluation of the home. One, evaluating heating levels, and then we do what's called a blower door test, or evaluating insulation levels. And then we do what's called a blower door test that tells us how drafty the house is.
Okay.
And then the goal is just to reduce that draft. Most drafts, you know, you could tackle them up in the attic and down in the basement. And weather stripping doors and, you know, doing a little bit of interior caulking around window trim, door trim, things like that.
Yeah.
But you get your big bang for your buck, mostly attic and basement, and then go from there.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit, you talked about an energy audit. What does that involve?
What it is a visit to the home to evaluate how well it's insulated and how drafty it is. It takes us about 3 to 4 hours. We start off just by visually evaluating the outside of the home, seeing if there's anything on the outside of the home that maybe needs to be addressed to help make the home more energy efficient. A lot of times we also have to take a look at health and safety issues on the home. If there's a lot of moisture problems with the home, of course you don't want to tighten that house up,
Right.
because then the moisture problems are going to become worse. So we got to take a look at, you know, the condition of the house, whether or not it's in good shape, whether or not there's any severe moisture or mold issues. If all that looks okay, then we can move forward with taking a look at how the place is insulated. Crawl up in the attic, take a look at the insulation depths in our attics, the slopes. A lot of times in the walls, unless the walls are empty, you pretty much have what you have in your walls. If you have a 2x4 cavity with 4 inches of fiberglass back insulation in there, that you can't get any more in there. You know, without
Right.
doing major energy retrofit, which would be, you know, stripping off the siding and putting rigid foam on the outside and residing the home.
Right.
That's too involved.
Yeah,
But if you have an old farmhouse with no insulation in the walls, we blow cellulose insulation into the walls. And then again, down the basements, take
Mhm.
care of moisture problems down the basements here in Maine. We have a lot of moisture issues
We
in our
should do,
basements.
yeah. Absolutely.
What we try and do is maintain that moisture. You know, you're not gonna stop it, but you can maintain it with sump pumps and mechanical ventilation,
Okay.
things like that, so.
What about the granite problems and stuff like that in foundations? Do you get into that with
Radon?
radon?
We don't take a look at radon right now, no. You know what, we like to install mechanical ventilation down in our basements, which,
That would help alleviate.
it helps.
Yep.
It's not a fix. The fix is to bore a hole down in your basement floor and put a pipe down into that hole, cement back in and put an inline fan connected to that pipe and pump that radon up and out. Once it gets outside, it's not a harm, it's just when it's trapped in our buildings. But we don't have funding for that. I guess you can assume, except for Waldo County, they have the lowest level of radon, but almost any other county in the state of Maine, you can assume radon.
Yeah, they use a lot of granite for foundations, no question.
Yeah, but there's been some studies, so we take a big look at indoor air quality.
Okay.
One of the big things is moisture, so we don't create any mold issues is what we're looking at.
How do you check the drafts and stuff that are in a building?
We use what's called a blower door, so it's a big fan that we put in maybe your main entry door. We have a frame that we put in the main entry door, a piece of canvas that closes the hole up, except for a hole that we install our fan in. And we hook a computer to that fan and we draw air out of the home, and it tells us how many cubic feet per minute is moving through that house. So we measure air leakage by cubic feet per minute.
And that's because of leaks around windows, wherever the air is coming from?
Yeah, you know, like I said, so the biggest bang for our buck is basements. A lot of these old granite rubble fieldstone foundations, they're real drafty down at the bottom, and then up in our attics. We have electrical and plumbing and chimneys and stuff like that go through our attics, and no one seals those holes up, you know, so you put a hole in your attic down to the basement, put your chimney up, now you got a gap this far around your chimney.
Absolutely.
And an opening from your attic to
Yeah,
the basement,
yeah.
so, you know, we get more reduction in that number by addressing those bigger things than we do. A lot of people think, oh, you know, my windows are drafty, and after we visit the home, they find out that's the least of their issues, is the windows.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. I mean, you don't get a big bang for your buck for your windows, because they're very expensive.
Yes, they
You know,
are.
it costs you a lot of money to install, replace windows, so it's gonna take you a long time to see a return on that investment.
Yeah.
That's the last place I would spend my money if I was weatherizing my home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, by putting plastic over your windows, you can seal them up 100%.
Yeah.
And you can do that very affordably.
Yeah,
Um,
they do sell window kits and stuff.
So, you know,
to do that
insulate, take care of those other bigger
Issues.
leakage areas like chimney chases and plumbing chases and leaky foundations. Take care of all that stuff first before you tackle your windows
And
and
that-
doors.
Using the blower door.
So we'll get a number
do that.
before we weatherize, and, you know, then we kind of try and estimate how much we think we can reduce that number by doing A, B, C, D in the home. And we go ahead and do that work, and then we do another blower door test after all the work is done and check our results. I'd say we're very successful at reducing that number by 20% in any house
That's a
we go
lot.
to. Yeah.
That's a lot.
But some of these bigger, older farmhouses, 50, 60% is not unheard of to reduce that number by.
Yeah, because the old farmhouses had
Yeah.
horsehair plaster,
14,
and that's
15,000
about it.
CFM,
Yeah,
you know, before we weatherize. So,
wow.
you know, you take a house like that's at 14,000 CFM, even if you cut the leakage in half, it's still leaky,
Oh, yeah,
you know.
but it's a lot better.
Yeah.
I remember I grew up in one of those houses once.
Yeah, your socks are
Yeah.
frosty in the morning.
Made the
and you're-
difference which way the
Yeah,
wind was
built
blowing, which
in.
side of the stove you stood
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, we get a lot of built-ins and stuff like that, and those that bump into cross bases that are uninsulated, and,
Oh, yeah,
you know, so just recognizing those areas and addressing them,
yeah.
it's
Now, some people
Not that
go the
hard.
extra mile and insulate the houses too much.
uh,
And if you go in, if they do ask you for an energy audit, you go in and you find that it's overdone, then what? Put in vents or?
yeah, you know, you can't over-insulate or over-tighten a home. You just need to be careful of moisture and indoor air quality, and that can be addressed through mechanical ventilation.
Mhm.
So if I was gonna build a brand new house today, I'd wanna super insulate it and build it airtight.
Mhm.
And then I could mechanically draw outside air in and exhaust indoor pollutants out. So if you control moisture, bring in fresh air, exhaust stale air, you can't over-insulate and over-tighten,
Mm-hmm,
you know.
okay.
But you gotta do it right, or else you will have nothing but problems.
Mm.
So you
Yeah,
gotta make
I'm
sure
gonna
you
say, you got bad air, you got, you know,
mold
once you
in
get
walls,
in,
if it's
yeah.
real tight, you can get moisture in the spaces and it can't escape properly, and, you know, you got mold issues and,
Mhm.
yeah, air quality issues for sure if you don't do it right.
How many audits do you do a year usually, Joe?
Right about
I'll put them on the
50,
spot.
around 50, we try and do one
Yeah.
a week.
50
Yeah.
a person.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
3 of us,
That's cool,
yeah, so.
that's good.
On average, it depends, you know, some homes are quicker than others, of course, you know, if you wind up doing 2 small ranches one week, that's doable, or if you go big old farmhouse, those jobs take you one, a long time to go through. I
Sure.
got 2 a long time too. We have a computer model that we plug these homes into.
Yeah,
So we have to be very accurate in plugging this data in, so the bigger the house and the crazier the dimensions, the longer it takes to put into the computer model.
and then again, Monica, this tied to weatherization through the LIHEAP program,
Yes, it is. Yep.
and vice versa, it goes both
Correct.
ways.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
so that's good.
Yeah, it helps and someone that we weatherized one year, the next year coming forward in fuel assistance, it would probably reduce their benefit because they're not
Absolutely.
gonna use as much, whatever, if it's oil, kerosene or whatever in the home, so.
Great point.
That's we're looking to, reduce energy for other folks. That way the dollars can stretch towards other ones that we're not able to serve in one way or another.
Yeah. So it's absolutely working on 2 problems at the
Yes.
same time.
Yes, it
When
is.
you do that.
Yep.
What a bang for the buck,
Yes.
that's a great deal.
Reduce the carbon footprint and then reduce their fuel usage, so we can send that savings to the neighbor.
Yep, it's absolutely right, but boy, 10,000,
Yes,
wow, I'm impressed.
yeah.
I didn't think
It's
there
a
was
lot
that
of
many
work.
people in the state of Maine.
Well, that's just our 4 counties that we serve,
Yeah.
so we're hopeful to do that and a little bit more this year, so,
That's good.
yeah.
How's the interaction with the federal government in getting funds? And I know that's off and on, depends on who's in power in Washington, but,
Yeah, politics is a whole different gamut. We directly get our benefits through another entity. We're a sub-grantee. We're not the
Okay.
grantor that goes after it.
Okay.
We funnel with a pass-through.
so where does the money come from?
It does come from the federal, it comes from the federal government down to the housing authority, down to the CAP agencies in the
Okay,
state.
so the Maine State Housing
Correct.
Authority handles that.
Yes.
Do they handle anything else that you have to go through them with, or?
Well, all of the programs, the fuel assistance, weatherization, furnace repair, home repair, all of those programs are ones that we get through them.
Awesome.
Yes.
That simplifies a lot from
It
going,
does.
everybody going to the federal government.
Yeah.
It used to be kind of like that.
Yeah, no, they've straightened that a long time ago, actually.
So that's great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, makes
But
it
just
easier.
gotta know your Maine State Housing Authority.
That's right.
Now, if somebody doesn't know about CAP and they go to Maine State Housing Authority, they're gonna be referred back to you,
Yes,
most
they will
likely.
be, yes. Maine State Housing knows all of the partners involved, so they'll direct them to the right agency where they live.
So it doesn't matter a
No.
whole lot, it's just a wasted step to go there when they can come directly to you.
I mean, we put stuff on our Facebook page, we put it on our website. We're connected to the housing authority. The town officials know, the CAP agencies, the representatives throughout the state do also. So it's very well known.
Yeah, because that's one of the requirements of the general assistance program.
Correct. Yes.
Is have you gone to KVCAP and
Yes.
talked to them yet?
Yeah, we were on that list.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Certainly are.
Mhm.
It's saved, I know one town that I work for, I won't mention any names, but Mount Vernon is well blessed to have you as a client to interact with, and it works very well.
Yeah, no, they all work very well with us, absolutely.
And we get a lot of good help out of it.
Yes.
When you get down to the finished product, what do your clients have to do? Anything as far as preservation of that and investment, or how do you
For any of the-
protect KVCAP or the state and federal money in the long term?
Well, these services outside of home repair are grant dollars, so it's not, they don't have to pay it back. There's no repercussion to, I mean, we do ask that they maintain the home and things of that nature, but we don't go back after the funds afterwards. It's a free
Yeah, it's a
service to
grant.
them, yes. So,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
some of that falls on our end, you know, we have to take a good look at the home and make sure that the home is first suitable for weatherization. You know, if you have
That's a
a
great point.
leaky bad roof or no siding on the house,
can't.
you know, it obviously doesn't make sense to go invest, you know, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 into that home, if the insulation's just gonna get soaking wet. So, you know, us auditors go out and evaluate the home, to see if the home is a good candidate for weatherization, so.
If
you
it
know,
isn't,
protect it in that way.
if it isn't and it needs to be fixed and they're qualified,
right. It's,
question for you, what about the housing side?
no, that's mine too.
I bet you.
That's another program we have in the department. If the
You're getting a lot of mileage out of this, I'm telling you, I don't know how you're doing it, but you're getting a lot of mileage in.
No, and it's the same thing. If one of the auditors go to a home and they find that the roof is in disrepair, or there's not enough siding on the home, or if there's something that can stop that from weatherization, we do have within the department home repair services. Again, with that program, you know, funding is a little bit more limited in that, so it's, again, it goes on a priority. What's the severe health and safety need of that home? Can we leverage it with other funding dollars? We try to look internally what we have. Besides the Housing Authority, we also work with the Department of Economic and Community Development. So we get CDBG funds from them, also grant dollars. So we try to look at that avenue. If it is one that we really truly need to finish doing that weatherization, we'll look to try to leverage with home repair. Sometimes we can, sometimes we can't. It's hard to say no and walk away from
Oh,
helping
absolutely,
someone. It really is.
absolutely.
It's hard.
I understand.
But
that.
we have all of those programs on this floor.
How does the CDBG money interact with you now? Is it an application process? How does that
No,
work?
we are directly linked to the Department of Economic and Community Development. We have been I've been with KVCAP for 6. Prior to that, I worked at the Housing Authority for 11. So we've always been connected. They give a certain allocation to each CAP agency.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It never used to be that way. but-
It's been that way for quite a few years.
Yeah.
We sign a contract with them and we, you know, for a year period, and we have to allocate those funds accordingly.
Awesome.
and
Awesome.
So we try to.
Yeah,
There's also rural development also has
Oh, yes,
home repair
yeah.
money also. So we try to be very aware of what else is out there.
yeah,
How
because
we
you
can
can
leverage
leverage a lot
Cash, yes.
if it's done right.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know why the rural development offices are now. There used to be one in Bangor, and one
Yeah.
in Lewiston,
In Scarborough,
and there's one in Scarborough.
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's good.
Yeah. Yep.
You're doing all right. So CDBG funds, rural housing,
Mm-hmm.
and any other avenues of bringing in money to?
We actually work with Department of Environmental Protection, DEP, for oil tanks.
Okay,
So we get a contract with them every year to replace. We typically do about 35 to 40 oil tanks with that program.
wow,
So we have their funding also.
yeah, well, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing all right. You
We
got a
are.
prize here, you know?
Oh, yeah,
Doing
we
all
do.
right.
Absolutely.
There are
That's
a lot of things
fantastic.
that we do here at KVCAP that I don't think a lot of people are aware of.
Well, and that's the point, and I think that this agency has done marvelously well over the years. It's one of the best kept secrets in the state of Maine, that what goes on here is you do your job, you don't ask for accolades, you just go out and do what you need to do.
Right, we have a great staff.
And there's a lot of people out there that, I don't want to bring on more work to you, but there are people out there that may see this TV show that may say, gee, I never thought about that, I need some help,
Absolutely.
and I'm struggling, or whatever the case may be, so maybe they can go on the website or call KVCAP and
Yes.
get involved with the programs here.
Absolutely. We can even do financial coaching with their budget
You
council.
hear that,
so-
people? You
Financial
all need
coaching,
it.
Yes. So I mean, there's a lot of different, whatever the need is, you always call.
I didn't
Yeah.
realize that part of it, but
Yeah.
boy, if I get a client for you.
Send them over.
Yeah, but it is, I feel that a lot of people don't have that financial background to be able to judge what they should be spending money on and what they shouldn't be spending money on. It's very easy to go out and buy something and then say, gee, I gotta have some fuel. Well,
Right.
gotta get your priorities straight, do it right. Awesome.
Yes.
Anything you'd like to add to this?
I would like to ask you a question.
Oh, go right for it.
A couple of things. What kind of benefit, what is the benefit range in LIHEAP? Is it a dollar amount?
It's a dollar, well, it is a dollar amount, and it depends on year to year. Depends on how much money is given to the state. It depends on the point per value that we get with the oil vendors. Last year season, I think the average benefit ran about 650. This year, average benefit's gonna run about 750 to 800. A little bit higher this year.
And is oil about the same cost as it was last year, or is it up
I believe it's up right
a
now.
little bit?
So with fuel assistance, that's how that benefits run. With weatherization, it can go anywhere. I've seen as low as 2,500, as high as 13,000 into a home. For furnace repair, replacement, again, you can go anywhere from a small service call to $200 up to sometimes an $8,000 system being installed. Same thing with an oil tank. It can go anywhere from repair of that oil tank or to replace it to 2,500. Home repair, same thing. It can go, up to almost 20,000.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
Bring your bill, buy a house for that. Go ahead,
Not
you're on.
anymore, I don't
I
think,
don't know
there,
about
Clyde.
Right.
And with the weatherization piece, that and with the home repair, that isn't at a cost to the client?
Weatherization, no. Home repair, it's not a cost out of pocket per month per se, but it is, there is a grant, a lien that's placed on their property for about 5 years.
Okay.
If they sell it, then they'd have to pay it back, but
Right,
it's a silent mortgage that sits there.
right.
Yep.
And that program does help seniors
Absolutely,
and families with young children.
yes. Yeah.
The other thing I wondered, between the two of you, I know that sometimes people in the winter, when they're cold, will do, really some unsafe things to stay warm.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about what they should not be doing to stay warm?
Boy, that's gonna take a whole show.
Yeah,
Well,
you gotta be really careful with your combustion appliances.
Which
They
are?
generate carbon monoxide, and you need to be monitoring that. So, see a lot of people with kerosene heaters. If you read the box at the store, it says fine for indoor use. That's when it's running safely and efficiently. But if you have a dirty wick and you're burning that in your home, you could have carbon monoxide issues.
Mhm.
We like to install carbon monoxide alarms
Mhm.
in all our homes. So first, foremost, have those in your home, the smoke alarms and the carbon monoxide alarms, have them in your home, make sure they're working. This way, if you do have any issues with combustion appliances, they can make you aware of them.
And by combustion appliances, you're talking,
Anything that burns fuel. You see
For
people run their oven.
Right.
How many people turn their oven up to 400
open the door.
degrees and open the door and use that to heat the home? That can be an unsafe situation.
Very
And
much
if you
so.
tell people to crack a window, but then,
The cold air.
But then the
what good
cold
is that?
air-
We're trying to heat the home, now you're telling me to crack a window.
right,
You want to use vented combustion appliances.
okay.
We recommend not using anything that is not vented. But if you have to, just, be aware that they can be a big health issue. And,
Right.
Short-term
they kill
use.
you.
Yes.
Short-term.
And they've
Short-term
burned
use,
down
you
to a lot of
lose
houses
power,
too.
you don't want your house to freeze, yeah, sure, run the kerosene heater.
Mhm.
These ventless gas heaters and stuff like that you see, just be careful with them,
Yeah.
Right.
and don't use them as a primary heat source, long-term heat source.
Yeah. That's, goes back a lot of years, because back in the day, some of them burned coal in the fireplace, and it took all the oxygen out. And so,
Well, that's,
beware.
that's why I asked. I had just learned that you should never use charcoal inside, charcoal briquettes. I had no idea. And so I could see a situation where maybe there isn't any power, and I want to cook a steak, and I bring it in the house, and with
Never
really,
mind.
really dangerous outcome.
Anything that you burn,
Mhm.
even candles,
Yeah,
Can
many
be
houses
dangerous.
burned down by candles.
they,
And another thing that you might want to touch on, Joe, is the house that's wired with the extension cords.
yeah, you gotta be
Not
very
bad.
careful there, again, when we evaluate the home, one of the big things before we do any weatherization is health and safety. So we're taking a look at any electrical problems, knob and tube wiring is a big thing we find up here that we wanna address before we weatherize, but, yeah, too many extension cords, you're gonna overload your circuit, and you can have house fire pretty easily.
Yep.
Especially this time of year with your Christmas tree and your Christmas lights and things like that. Don't overload, don't plug that 10 strip, 10 outlet strip into your plug and, fill it up and try and power the whole house out of
Yeah.
one breaker. It's not gonna work.
No, if the breakers, because the household usually, if a breaker pops, goes get a bigger breaker until they find one that won't pop, and then
Yeah.
your house burns.
What usually happens is those breakers, they wear out and then they
Yeah.
don't pop.
Yeah.
And that's where you have your issues. And there's no way to really know that,
Nope.
So-
It's absolutely not, but it is to stay safe and warm at the same time. It's not always easy, especially
easy.
for some families.
Correct.
Absolutely.
It's the people that have the good homes and living, I won't say the good life, but living comfortably. And sometimes they get into that trap as well.
Yeah, be
Oh,
very
yeah,
careful
just,
with your wood stoves, you see
Yep.
folks
Have your chimney
install a
cleaned.
wood stove, but, they don't install it properly. You gotta be very careful
Yeah.
with the wood stoves to agree.
A lot of,
Affordable source of heat, but you gotta do it right.
yeah, a lot of DIYs out there
Yeah.
that, give that chimney and keep your stoves away from walls 18 inches at minimum. And
Make sure you
there's a lot of
have
things you don't
manufacturer's
want to do.
specs. If
Yep.
you don't have manufacturer's specs, it should be 3 foot from a combustible wood stove.
Yep,
That's pretty much out in the middle of your room.
Yep.
Your stove pipe, if it's not insulated,
you're looking for trouble.
you can have some issues going through roofs and attic spaces and stuff like that. So don't run your single wall, smoke pipe all the way from the stove up through the roof, or, you can have some trouble.
Many years ago, A lot of places burn doing that.
Yeah.
That's what they knew, that's what they could afford, doing that. But when you go into doing an audit, you get a chance to look at these things.
Right,
And
make
find
them
out.
safe, make it
Yeah.
right, yeah.
So if
We don't
anybody
do anything to the house.
did anything, if they could get an audit done, that would get them to realize what they've got for issues, if nothing else.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we do, we have to kind of walk away, but at least they have the knowledge now of, you know, here's our concerns.
Yeah.
You know, we could put them on the list for rehab if that's an issue, or on the chip list if their heating isn't up to par, and try and get it fixed for them. But yeah, when we leave there, we'll know why we can't weatherize.
Mhm. Now, when you do fuel assistance, is that just heating oil and kerosene, or is there other venues that?
It could, whatever their primary is, it could be wood pellets, it could be wood, it could be coal, LP gas, natural gas, kerosene or oil, electric,
Yeah,
any
that's
of
good.
it, any.
because that's important. A lot of people
Yes.
looking at this saying, well, gee, I'd like to do it, but I burn wood pellets or
Yeah.
whatever. It's
Whatever.
still,
Correct,
they still should come and see you.
absolutely, yep.
And if you feel you're eligible, do it. You may not be, but if you do
Doesn't
it, then
hurt
you'll
anything,
know.
absolutely,
Then
yes,
you'll know.
yep.
It's absolutely right.
Mhm.
Any final thoughts?
Just for folks, if they need the phone number, it's 1-800-542-8227.
What was that?
1-800-542-8227. We do have locations in Waterville, Skowhegan, Augusta, and Wiscasset. As Monica mentioned, they could schedule their appointments online by visiting our website. That's KVCAP.org. And it's on the page under fuel assistance.
Awesome. Any final comments that you'd like to make?
No, I mean, I think we've covered everything that we do. We
Awesome.
appreciate putting the word out there. We look forward to helping, you know,
That's
whomever
awesome.
we can throughout the season, so
Well, thank you.
don't hesitate.
Thank both of you, because it's
Thank
a
you.
very important message to get out there so that people know that it
Absolutely.
does exist.
Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
And thank you again. We'll see you next time on Kennebec Valley Forum.